As some might know, but many won't know, there's currently a mouse plague going on in West Australia and parts of South Australia, with some increases in southwestern Queensland. So many people might not think that a mouse plague is that much of an issue. For most of us, it's just two or three mice skidding around in the house. But let me just tell you about it. So mice can start to produce at 4 to 6 weeks of age. They can have a litter every 25 days. They can get back, they've got a gestational period of 21. They can actually fall pregnant again within 2 days of giving birth to that litter. They can have from 5 to 12 babies. Realistically, if you went at 6, they can have 10 litters per year. So what would one mouse end up being in 12 months? That one mouse results in up to 5,000 mice in a 12-month period. The problem being that conditions are dead right with regard to food, the weather, everything like that. So why is it so bad? Not only does it damage crops, but it damages people's minds, people's mental health, for the simple fact, when there's a mouse plague, you cannot get away. Crops are in danger, machinery's in danger, chewing wires, chewing everything they can, in the house, running over your bed at night. And there's an all-pervading stench. Male mice are notorious for that odour. To be honest, up our way, things like lepto and all of that can be spread by mice. So they're not just an annoyance, they are definitely a health hazard and a wealth hazard. Now, the problem is that the most effective chemical is zinc phosphide. It's a Schedule 7 poison. It can be used. The standard legal limit is 25 grams per kilogram. Now, the problem with that is that if there's lots of food around, the mouse has to ingest a certain amount of that chemical for it to be effective. If there's lots of food around, they're far less likely to ingest enough to kill them. Now, generally an increased concentration of up to 50 grams per kilogram makes a heck of a difference. The problem being you can't just go out and use it. The mob that controls that is the Australian Pesticides and Veterinary Medicines Authority. And they assess along a certain amount of guidelines with regard to the environment and non-target species. Now, the problem with this is that they are slow. Mice don't live and breed according to office hours. So in the time frame that it's taking, these plagues are going from an annoyance to a catastrophe. Now, a similar thing happened in 21, and the response was slow. Now, by all accounts, the response is slow again. And I'll quote an article where they quote Matthew Cossey, the CEO of, what do they call themselves? CropLife Australia. They're a peak body representing the plant science sector. They basically encompass companies that provide agricultural chemicals and biotechnology. They work on science-based regulation or advocate for that. Their members provide 85% of crop protection and 95% of biotech products to farmers. Now, according to Matthew Cossey, the assessment of new and innovative products, only 36% are being completed within the statutory time frame. 36%. Quite frankly, that's bloody awful. Now, the plant science industry apparently incurs the highest regulatory costs in the world, with the fees and levies going towards that body and its assessment. Now, they are reforming apparently, but it's bloody slow. They're not even reaching minimum standards of recognised performance. And like I said, when there's a mouse plague going on, if you look at those exponential figures, every day is crucial. Why are we facing the same problem that we faced 5 years ago, that people faced? You know, there should be a recognised framework, and if there is, why the hell is it taking so long? Now, I'm not an expert in this, and what I'm asking for, if anyone does have information on this, please let me know. But it's like most things, you know, I don't doubt that people are trying hard, but ultimately, as I said, mice don't keep to office hours, and neither does farming. So maybe regulation and government agencies need to start marching to the beat and not their own beat. But anyway, now you're aware, and maybe if there's someone that's in the jaws of that horrible situation, they can contact me and let me know. Thank you. Have a good day.